How are we doing, everyone? Robert Leonard, glad to be with you again. Today, we're going to be talking about some warm-ups and some exercises that you can do before you play. This will help get your muscles nice and loose, help get your blood flowing, and help prevent injuries as well. So we're starting with those butt kicks and those high knees. We're getting these muscles in our legs nice and loose. It's not the most high intensity thing we're doing, so it's a nice one to start with there. Again, getting that range of motion. We're working on that forward and backwards plane, getting those muscles nice and loosened. Another one to throw in might be this one to help loosen up those hamstrings as well. So next we're doing those shuffles. This is great to work on all that cardio, keeping that torso low, keeping those motions efficient, working on that side to side plane as well, which is fantastic. And shuffling is so important to this game, especially when you're up at that no volley zone line. At high levels, you see so much shuffling and very aggressive shuffling. So it's fantastic to start working on that, getting better at it, and of course, warming it up before you get to it. So next we were loosening up those shoulders. Part of this, I'll be honest, is to give you a little bit of a break. I know we're working pretty hard, so that gives you a little bit of a breather, catch your breath. So important to get those shoulders, to get them nice and loose, to get that full range of motion. You don't want those shoulders to be too tight before you get into it, before you start hitting that ball harder and harder. So make sure we're getting all those joints nice and warmed up, nice and loose. We're doing that split karaoke next, reinforcing, hitting that return, running up to that no volley zone line. So important to return and run, always get to that line. We were ending in a split step. It's this tiny motion like this. I'm landing on my toes. I'm stopping my momentum. Now I can react side to side. Again, small little motion. Split step is very important. I want to split step when my opponent hits the ball, okay? So then I'm stopped and I'm ready to react to the ball they hit to me. We went back doing that karaoke. Now we're getting some of that twist in, which is a fantastic range of motion to get those hips loose, getting some of those twists in. So next we were doing those drop shot lunges. It is so important, guys, when you're hitting your drop shots. Keep your arm nice and gentle. Your arm's just dinking. Let your legs do the rest of the work. Again, most of your muscle mass is in your legs, so what a waste not to use that muscle mass. Make sure we're getting low using those legs on our drop shots. When we got up to that line, then we were dinking again. We're using those legs, and of course, always keeping that paddle out in front. As you backpedal back, we need to stay on our toes off those heels. If you're on your heels, moving backwards and start leaning backwards, some of you will remember this from the pickleball mistakes video, but that's when bad things happened, and that's when you can actually get injured on court. So if you're gonna backpedal, on those toes and never leaning backwards. We'll do some butt kickers next, loosening out those quads. We do want to get those heels all the way up to that butt. We should feel a little bit of a stretch as we're doing this. Once again, it is not a race. I'm not trying to go as fast as I can. I'm trying to get that nice stretch coming up to my quads. Always want to stay on my toes. Don't want to be too flat-footed as I'm going across, as I'm going there and back. Next, we'll be working on some shuffling, and no, we're not doing this with a deck of cards. We're simply doing this with our legs. Few things to note about shuffling. I don't want to be bouncing up and down each time. I want to keep those quads engaged. I want to keep my torso level. I also want to kind of hear my heels clicking. I don't want to be taking these short steps. I want to get my legs together. That lets me take that next biggest step as I'm moving across the court. And of course, I get bonus points if I'm in my strong ready position the whole time I'm doing it. This one's certainly a little bit of a workout, but very useful for your game. If you've been following along with me, you should be a little tired by this point, maybe a little out of breath. So we'll take a sec and get our shoulders nice and loose, rotating all the way forward. We can rotate all the way back as well. As we're getting tired, as we're getting out of breath, remember to keep that posture, keep those shoulders back, keep those lungs open. We'll do the other arm. Make sure we're taking full breaths. Breathing in through that nose, exhaling through that mouth. Breathing is very important, not only for survival, of course, but very important as you're playing. Can't play well if you're out of breath, if your lungs don't have oxygen, your muscles don't have oxygen. We'll get some nice twists in for that torso as well. We'll start to use those hips a little bit, get that nice range of motion, and get everything loosened up. Next one we'll call a split step karaoke. We'll hit our return to serve, split step at that line, and we'll karaoke on back. Hit that return to serve, run to that line, split step, and we'll karaoke on back. When we're split stepping, it's a tiny little hop almost onto those toes. We are stopping that momentum. We're getting nice and set. We can go side to side. I don't want to jump up in the air. That's inefficient, doesn't make me as ready. This is gonna be a great one. Not only working on your cardio, not only working on that hip movement, but this will also really reinforce that return and run concept, which is so important. Hit that return, run up to that line, and we'll karaoke on back. Split step at the line, karaoke on back. Next thing we'll do is a nice drop shot lunge, getting nice and low, keeping that paddle out in front. Practice some good form here. Remember, the legs are so important as we're hitting those drop shots. I'll get to this line, I'll shuffle a little bit, hit that dink. Again, using my legs, keeping that paddle out in front. I might back pedal back, and I'll do that again, getting low, letting those legs do that work. Your legs are your big muscles. You always want to use those legs. Get those big muscles involved. As you back pedal, stay on your toes. If you come on your heels and lean backwards, you can fall, and that can be quite dangerous. Don't let yourself lean backwards. Always want my momentum forward, out in front of me, keeping that paddle out in front, staying on my toes. Again, coming in, keeping those legs involved.